I never thought the knife would twist deeper from the one person I trusted most. My sister, Ellie, the keeper of all my secrets. But there she was, her voice cracking like thunder in our family Sunday dinner, spilling my truth across the table like spilled wine. Noah's gay. Mom, he's been lying to us all. The room froze, forks clattering, my father's face turning to stone as he shoved back from the table, his chair scraping like a scream. In that instant, home shattered, and I was the shard left bleeding on the floor. That was 7 years ago, in the sticky heat of a Kansas summer, when I was 22 and still believed blood meant unbreakable. Now, at 29, I'd rebuilt myself in the concrete jungle of New York, brick by brick. Lie by lie, I told myself to keep the hurt at bay. But secrets have a way of rotting from the inside, and mine was about to unearth everything I'd buried. Ellie and I were the misfits of the Harlan family, tight as thieves in a world that prized straight lines and Sunday sermons. Our parents, devout Baptists in Wichita, ran a small auto shop that smelled of oil and quiet expectations. Dad fixed engines with the same steady hands he used to grip his Bible, preaching about paths straight and narrow. Mom baked pies that won county fairs, her smile a veil over the bruises of her own unspoken dreams. My older brother, Jake, was the golden boy, football star turned accountant, married with a kid on the way. Ellie and I, we were the afterthoughts, the ones who dreamed too loud. I knew I was different long before I had words for it. In high school, while Jake chased cheerleaders, I lingered in the library, stealing glances at the curve of a boy's jawline in the yearbook. But Kansas wasn't kind to questions like mine. So I hid, dating girls in secret shame, telling myself it was a phase. Ellie saw through it first. She was 19 then, wild-haired and sharp-tongued, studying journalism at community college, always dragging me to indie films in Topeka where characters kissed without apology. One humid night, after a disastrous date with Sarah from church youth group, where I'd faked a kiss and fled to the bathroom to puke, Ellie found me chain-smoking on the back porch. "Noah," she said, sliding down beside me, her knee bumping mine. "You don't have to pretend." Not with me. The words unlocked something feral in my chest. I told her everything, the dreams that woke me sweating, the ache of wanting what I couldn't name. She hugged me fierce, whispering, "You're my brother. That's all that matters. We'll figure it out." For 2 years, she was my shield. She'd cover for my late nights at study group, actually spent nursing crushes at dive bars on the edge of town. We'd laugh about it over stolen beers, plotting my escape to a city where rainbows weren't just for parades. "New York," she'd say, eyes sparkling. "Or San Francisco. Somewhere they celebrate your kind of beautiful." I believed her. God, I believed her. Then came Thanksgiving of my senior year at the local uni, studying graphic design because it let me hide in colors and screens. Jake announced his engagement, and the house swelled with pride. Dinner was a minefield of toasts and timelines, Mom's turkey drying under the heat lamps of expectation. Ellie, home from a semester abroad in England, her big break on a scholarship, sat across from me. Fidgety, her usual fire dimmed by jet lag and something darker in her eyes. It happened after pie, when the men folk retreated to the den for football, and us girls, plus me, the eternal tag-along, cleared the table. Mom cornered Ellie about her wild London ways, teasing about boys she'd left behind. Ellie laughed it off at first, but then her gaze flicked to me, loaded like a gun. "Boys are my problem. Mom," she said, voice too bright. Unlike Noah, who's got plenty but won't admit it, the kitchen went tomb silent. Mom's hands stilled on the dish towel, her eyes widening like I'd slapped her. "What do you mean by that?" "Eleanor, Ellie, my brave. Broken Ellie," crumbled. Maybe it was the wine, or the pressure of Jake's perfect life mirroring her own unraveling dreams. She dropped out of her program abroad, buried under debts and a bad breakup with a girl she'd never told us about. In that moment, her hurt lashed out, and I was the easiest target. He's gay. Mom. Noah's been hiding it, lying to all of us, pretending with those girls. I found out last year, and he made me promise to keep it quiet. Her words hung like smoke, choking the air. I stood there, plates slipping from my fingers, shattering on the linoleum like my facade. Mom's face drained white, then flushed red with a fury I'd only seen in church scandals. "Lord have mercy," she whispered, crossing herself. Then louder, "Is this true?" "Noah." I couldn't lie anymore. Not with Ellie's eyes pleading sorry through tears. Not with the truth clawing free. "Yeah," I choked. "It's true." Dad burst in at the commotion, Jake trailing like a shadow. The argument exploded, Bible verses hurled like grenades, accusations of deception, of tainting the family name. Ellie sobbed apologies, but it was too late. Dad's verdict was swift. "You can't stay here, son. Not under this roof. Not like this." Mom wailed, clutching her rosary, but she didn't fight it. Jake just stared, disappointment etching lines on his young face. By midnight, I was packed, a duffel of clothes, my sketch pad, $300 from my part-time job. Ellie begged to drive me to the bus station, but Dad forbade it. "You've done enough damage," he growled. She slipped me a note as I hugged her goodbye. "I'm so sorry. Noah, I love you. Fix this for us. Fix this." As if my existence was the break. The Greyhound to Chicago hummed with stranger snores. But I didn't sleep. Rain lashed the windows, mirroring the storm in my gut. Betrayal burned hottest, not from my parents' rejection, but from Ellie, my sister, my confidant, who'd weaponized my vulnerability to salve her own wounds. I tore up her note miles from home, scattering the pieces like ashes. Chicago was a blur of hostels and hunger, crashing on couches of online forums for queer kids like me. Raw, lost, American dreams deferred. I waitressed at a diner in Wrigleyville, sketching logos for local bands between shifts, dodging catcalls and the ghost of Ellie's voice. 6 months in, a scholarship ad caught my eye, Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, New York, the city of reinvention. I applied with trembling hands, my portfolio screaming the pain I couldn't voice. Accepted. Just like that, a fresh start. New York swallowed me whole, its pulse a bomb to my fractured heart. I sublet a shoebox in Bushwick, walls papered with subway maps and affirmations scrawled in marker. "You are enough." Classes at Pratt were electric. Professors saw the fire in my lines, the emotion bleeding through pixels. I came out there, tentative at first, to a roommate who hugged me, to a study group that toasted with cheap wine. Pride that first June was revelation, rainbows everywhere. Not just flags, but in the eyes of strangers who saw me and said, "Brother." That's where I met Benjamin. Ben, with his easy laugh and storm gray eyes, was a photography major from Seattle, all lean angles and quiet intensity. We collided in a critique session, my digital collage of shattered family portraits clashing with his black and white series on urban isolation. "Your work hurts," he said afterward, over coffee at a hole in the wall on Bedford. In the best way. Like you've lived every fracture. I laughed it off, but his gaze held, peeling back layers I'd armored. We talked for hours about growing up queer in conservative pockets, the weight of unspoken expectations. He was out to his folks early. They embraced it with therapy and tears, but he carried the what-ifs for others like me. You're brave, Noah, he murmured, his hand brushing mine across the table. That touch ignited something dormant, warm and terrifying. Our first date was accidental, a street fair in Williamsburg, falafel and craft beer under string lights. He kissed me there, soft and sure, tasting of cardamom and possibility. I've wanted this since your piece on the wall, he confessed. I pulled him closer, the crowd fading to a hum. For the first time, love didn't feel like a secret to guard. Ben became my anchor. We moved in together junior year. A railroad apartment in Greenpoint with leaky faucets and a fire escape view of the East River. Mornings were his camera clicking as I sketched breakfast nudes, tasteful. Always. Evenings tangled in sheets, whispering futures. He pushed me to freelance, album covers for indie acts, murals for queer youth centers. Success trickled in, a gallery show in Chelsea. Features in local rags, calling me the voice of millennial heartbreak. But shadows lingered. I hadn't spoken to my family since the bus station. Jake sent a stiff Christmas card once. No return address needed. Mom's letters came filtered through a P.O. box, perfunctory updates on the shop. Jake's baby girl. Signed with prayers for your soul. Ellie's silence cut deepest. No calls. No emails. I'd search her name online sometimes. Heart pounding, finding nothing but ghosts. Ben noticed the cracks. You deserve to heal this. Noah, he'd say, tracing the scar on my palm from that shattered plate. Not for them, for you. I nod, but fear rooted deep. What if forgiveness meant forgetting? What if they hadn't changed? The call came on a drizzly October afternoon, 3 years into our life together. I was mid-mock-up for a client's app when my phone buzzed, unknown Kansas area code. I almost let it ring, but something fate, masochism, made me answer. Noah, Ellie's voice, thinner now, laced with Midwest winters. It's me, the world tilted. Ellie, my throat closed around the name, a decade of unsaid words surging. Ben paused his editing, eyebrows raised from across the room. I need to see you. A pause. Ragged breath. I'm in New York. For good. Maybe. Can we meet? Please. Rage flare hot. How dare she? After everything, but under it. A hollow ache. My sister. The one who'd held my hand through nightmares. Why now? I demanded. Voice steel. Another beat. Because I was wrong. So wrong. And I can't live with it anymore. She gave an address, a coffee shop in Midtown. Tomorrow at noon. I hung up, hands shaking. Ben crossed to me, arms enveloping. Go, he urged. Whatever it is, you need this. Sleep evaded me that night. Ghosts parading, Ellie's betrayal. The bus's taillights fading. Ben's steady breath beside me now. Was this closure? Or just another wound? The shop was a hipster haven, exposed brick. Pour-overs steaming like fog. She was in the corner, smaller than memory. Hair cropped short, lines etching her once youthful face. At 31, she looked 40, hollow by time. Noah, she stood, tentative, and I froze, hug or slap. I chose neither, sliding into the seat opposite. You look good, she said. I was tracing my face like a map she'd lost. Happy. New York does that. Sarcasm dripped, but curiosity gnawed. What happened to you? After. She stirred her latte, avoiding my gaze. I spiraled. Dropped out for real after that night. Couldn't face the family. Were you? Dad blamed me. Said I poisoned the well. Mom retreated into church. Jake. He married into oblivion. A bitter laugh. I bounced, waitressing in Denver. Then L.A., chasing stories that never stuck. Fell into a crowd that numbed it all. Bad choices. Worse regrets. I leaned forward, pulse thundering. Why tell them? Why me? Tears welled, unbidden. I was scared. Noah. Scared of being the family screw-up alone. You'd confided, and I threw you under to save myself. God, it was selfish. Cruel. She reached across, but I pulled back. I've spent years trying to make it right. In therapy, AA meetings, writing apology letters I burned. But seeing you thrive online, your art, it gutted me. You're out there living, and I'm still hiding. Hiding. The word snagged. From what? Her face crumpled. From this. She tapped her chest, and glanced around, voice dropping. I'm gay too. Noah. Bye. Really? But. Yeah. I knew back then. Buried it deep. Outing you was my way of testing the waters without drowning alone. And I nearly killed us both. The revelation landed like a sucker punch. Shock. Then a twisted empathy. My sister, carrying the same weight, lashing out in panic. You could have told me, I whispered. We could have faced it together. I know. She wiped her eyes. That's why I'm here. I moved to Jersey last month, got a job at a nonprofit for queer youth. Lowly editor, but it's honest. And I want to make amends. If you'll let me. We talked for hours, raw. Ragged truths spilling like the rain outside. She confessed the family fractures, Dad's hidden drinking, Mom's depression masked by hymns, Jake's own marital cracks. They're not monsters, she said. Just scared people in a scared place. But that's no excuse. By dusk, something shifted, a fragile bridge over the chasm. I didn't forgive, not fully, but I felt the thaw. Start slow, I said, standing. Coffee next week? Her smile was tentative. Real. I'd like that. Ben was waiting at home. Takeout, Thai steaming on the counter. How'd it go, he asked, pulling me into his lap on the couch. Complicated. I recounted it all, the betrayal's echo mingling with her confession. He listened, fingers combing my hair. Proud of you, he murmured, for showing up. That night, as we made love slow, reverent, the city humming beyond our window, I fell whole for the first time. Ellie was back, flawed and fighting, and maybe, just maybe, family could be rebuilt. But secrets, as I should know, breed in the dark. 2 weeks later, over diner eggs with Ellie, she dropped the bomb that would unravel everything. It started innocently enough, a shared laugh over her botched attempt at a Midwestern accent, mimicking our old neighbor Mrs. Hargrove. The diner was a greasy spoon in Hell's Kitchen. Fluorescent lights, buzzing like hesitant fireflies. The air thick with bacon and regret. Ellie had texted at dawn. Pancakes on me? Need to unload. I'd agreed, buoyed by our tentative rhythm, texts about her commute. My latest gig, the slow unfurling of trust. Now, fork midway to my mouth. She leaned in, voice a conspirator's hush. Noah, there's something else. About Mom and Dad. My stomach nodded. What now? More prayers for my conversion. Worse. Her eyes darted, as if the walls had ears. They're coming to New York. Next month. For Jake's kid's baptism or something. But Dad reached out. He wants to see you. The world narrowed to a pinprick. Visions flashed, Dad's calloused hands slamming the Bible shut, his voice booming abomination like a curse. 7 years of radio silence. And now this? No, I said, flat. Absolutely not. Ellie gripped my wrist. Urgent. Hear me out. It's not what you think. Dad's changed. Cancer scare last year, prostate. Clean now, but shook him. He's been going to this progressive church group, reading books on acceptance. Even wrote you a letter, but chicken out sending it. A laugh barked from my throat, bitter as burnt coffee. Convenient. Near-death epiphany. And I'm the prodigal son to welcome back? After he threw me out like trash? I get it, she pleaded, tears brimming again. I do. But Mom's fading, gallbladder issues. Doctor's orders to lighten stress. They're old. Noah. Stubborn. Yeah, but human. What if this is their shot at redemption? Yours too. Redemption. The word mocked me. I clawed my way from shelters to stability. Ben's loved the glue holding my mosaic together. Why risk it for ghosts? And you? I shot back. What's your angle? Guilt trip central. She flinched, but held steady. Partly. But mostly. I miss my brother. All of us. Together. Not perfect, but trying. I left that lunch with a migraine and a maybe, vague as fog. Ben was at a shoot in the village. So I wandered Central Park, leaves crunching underfoot like brittle bones. Tourists snapped selfies by Bethesda Fountain, oblivious to the war in my chest. Forgive, forget, or fortify the walls higher. Ben found me there at dusk, his camera slung over one shoulder, thermos of soup in hand. You look like you wrestled a storm, he said, settling beside me on a bench. I spilled it, the invitation, Ellie's plea, the churn of old wounds. He was quiet a beat. Then, you don't owe them shit. Noah. But if Parky wants this, I'll be there. Every step, his steadiness was my undoing. What if it's a trap? What if they haven't changed? And it breaks me again? Then we rebuild. Together. He kissed my temple, saw my tears on his lips. You're not that scared kid anymore. You're the man who turns pain into art. We went home, ordered pizza, binge-watched old sitcoms till laughter edged out the ache. But sleep brought dreams. Dad's face softening, Mom's arms open, then twisting to rejection, Ellie smirking in the shadows. I woke gasping, Ben's murmur pulling me back. The weeks blurred, Ellie's check-ins gentle. My freelance booming with a book cover for a queer memoir that hit too close. Ben and I celebrated with rooftop wine, Manhattan glittering below like a promise. To us, he toasted, clinking glasses. The family we chose. Yet doubt festered. I unearthed that old sketchpad from Chicago days. Pages raw with family portraits, Dad's stern jaw, Mom's kind eyes, Ellie's defiant grin, Jake's easy smile. I'd drawn us whole, before the fracture. Now, I added Ben, his hand in mine, a bridge across the rift. The day arrived crisp November, leaves aflame in the Palisades. Ellie orchestrated it, a neutral ground, a park picnic by the Hudson, far from city clamor. Ben drove, his thumb tracing circles on my knee, Ellie in the back chattering about nothing to fill the void. They were early, Dad in khakis too stiff for him, Mom in a cardigan the color of faded hope, a thermos of her famous lemonade between them. Jake absent. Work emergency, Ellie muttered, but his absence screamed louder. Noah. Dad stood first, voice gravelly, hand extended, not for a hug, but a start. I shook it, palm clammy against his calluses. Mom's embrace was tentative, floral perfume stirring ghosts of childhood. We sat on blankets, awkward as strangers. Ellie played buffer, passing sandwiches, cracking weak jokes. Ben sat sentinel beside me, his presence a shield. Small talk limped, weather, the shop's new hires, my line of work with Mom's careful phrasing. Then Dad cleared his throat, pulling an envelope from his jacket, yellowed, creased. Been carrying this a while, he said, sliding it over. Read it later. But I need to say, I was wrong. That night. Scared man, clinging to rules instead of love. Cancer taught me, life's too short for hate. Mom nodded, eyes shiny. We prayed wrong. Son, for change in you, not us. We're learning. Slow. But here, the words landed soft, then sharp, sincerity warring with skepticism. I wanted to believe, but the scar tissue pulled tight. It hurt, I admitted, voice cracking. All of it. Ellie's words. Your silence. I lost my home. Ellie bowed her head, shame etching deep. Mom reached for my hand. We lost a son. Prayed you'd forgive fools like us. Ben squeezed my shoulder. Silent support. The Hudson whispered below. Timeless witness. I nodded. Throat too thick for more. Maybe. In time. Picnic wrapped with hugs. Real ones. This time, and promises of calls. Visits. Driving back. Ellie exhaled. That wasn't so bad. Wasn't great either, I countered, but a seed cracked open in my chest. That night, alone with the letter, Dad's scrawl unfolded, apologies inked with trembling hand, admissions of his own doubts, a cousin lost to AIDS in the 80s, unspoken grief fueling his fear. I failed you. Boy, let me try again. Tears blur the page, catharsis flooding. Ben found me there, curled on the floor. Hey, he whispered, gathering me close. You did good. We made love fierce that night, reclaiming, reaffirming. Body's a language of yes. Afterward, tangled in sheets, I traced his collarbone. Marry me, his eyes widened, then softened to joy. Thought you'd never ask. Laughter bubbled, light piercing dark. Life, it seemed, could bend toward grace. But grace has teeth. 2 months later, on a snow-dusted Christmas Eve, betrayal reared again, not from family, but the man I'd vowed to build with. Ben had been distant lately, late shoots, vague texts, a new client in Soho he wouldn't name. I chalked it to deadlines, my own absorption in a mural commission for a Harlem center. Ellie and I were solidifying weekly brunches, her meeting Ben over wine, even a tense call with Jake thawing old ice. That eve, I planned surprise, tree-trimmed solo, his favorite lasagna bubbling, ring hidden in the fridge, cheesy, but us. He was due at 7, 8 came, then 9. Texts unanswered, worry gnawing to panic. The door clicked at 10. Ben stumbling in, coat askew. Cheeks flushed not from cold. Sorry, babe. Shoot ran long. Relief soured to suspicion, his eyes evading. Cologne sharper than usual. Everything okay? Yeah. Fine. He pecked my cheek. Heading for the shower. Dinner restrained. Small talk skating surface. As we clear plates, my phone buzzed. Ellie, Merry Christmas. Mom sent cookies. Call tomorrow? Ben paused, drying a glass. How's the family thing going? Good? Real. I studied him. The flicker in his gaze. Ben. What's wrong? He sighed, setting the towel down. Noah. We need to talk. The words chilled deeper than snow. We sat on the couch. Tree lights, mocking merriment. I've been seeing someone, he said, voice steady but eyes fracturing. From the agency. It's serious. The room spun. Seeing someone. Betrayal's echo. But sharper, Ben. My rock. My future. How long? For months. Matter of fact. Like weather. It just happened. You're amazing. But I need space. To figure out if this is me. Space. The word was a slap. After everything, the proposal, you said yes. I did. But doubt crept in. Your family drama, it's heavy. And I'm not sure I can carry it forever. My laugh was hollow. My drama? The one you swore to share. He stood, grabbing his coat. I'm sorry. I love you, still do. But love isn't always enough. The door shut soft, but the slam echoed eternal. I sank to the floor, ring box cold in my fist. Ellie texted again. You okay? No. Shattered anew. Dawn broke gray. City stirring indifferent. I called Ellie. Voice raw. He's gone. She arrived an hour later. Coat dusted white. Arms laden with coffee and croissants. Oh, Noah. She held me as sobs racked. No words, just presence. The sister I'd mourned revived. We talked till noon, his betrayal a mirror to hers. Pain's cruel symmetry. Why does love twist like this? I wondered aloud. Because we're human, she said. Fierce. Flawed as hell. But we fight for it. That fight began then me, pitching the mural through tears. Ellie, confessing her own fresh heartbreak. A co-worker who ghosted. We leaned, learned, laughed at the absurdity. Ben's things vanished over weeks, text polite, then sparse. Mutual friends tiptoed, whispers of his new guy, a model with abs and no baggage. Rage simmered, then cooled to resolve. I wouldn't break, I'd bend. Spring bloomed reluctant, cherry blossoms mocking renewal. Ellie and I planned a road trip, Philly for her conference, me tagging for murals. Sisters and brothers, she joked. Queer edition. En route. Phone rang, Mom. Noah, your father's asking about you. And we saw Ben's post. Engagement. Gossip travels fast in Wichita. Yeah, I lied. Throat tight. Over. Silence. Then, come home. Son. For Easter. Please. Home. The word tempted. Treacherous. Ellie glanced over. Eyebrow arched. What do you say? I exhaled. Horizon endless. Maybe it's time. Easter in Kansas was green shoots piercing soil. A metaphor I couldn't ignore. The house looked smaller, peeling paint. Dad's shop quieter. Jake was there, toddler on hip, his wife wary but warm. Hugs were awkward, but real, dinner prayers inclusive. No fire and brimstone. After, Dad pulled me to the garage, tools gleaming like old friends. Heard about the boy, he rumbled. Sorry, don't cut it. But life's full of letdowns. You rise. From him, stoic dad, it landed profound. Tried to, I admitted. Ellie hovered, her presence balm. Later, under stars sharp as memory, she and I walked the block. Proud of you, she said. For all this, us, I corrected. Could have been enemies. Chose family. Back in New York. Summer sizzled. My mural unveiled to cheers. Ellie promoted at work. Ben's wedding invite arrived. Deleted unopened. Pain lingered, but lighter. Then, the call that cracked the facade. Ellie, hysterical. Noah, it's Dad. Heart attack. Bad. I flew home. Ben's ghost in every mile. Hospital sterile. Family huddled. Dad stable, but frail, tube snaking. Eyes meeting mine with unspoken plea. You're here, he whispered. Wouldn't miss it. Ellie collapsed against me. Our chain reforged in crisis. Recovery was slow, weeks of vigils. Mom's hand in mine. Jake's jokes thawing. One night, Dad beckoned me close. That letter. Meant it. Love you, son. Always did. Tears fell unchecked. Love you too. Dad, healing isn't linear, but it's possible. Ben faded to footnote. Ellie to cornerstone. In the end, home wasn't a place. It was the people who stayed, scars and all. Yet fate, that sly fox, had one more twist. Fall crept in again, leaves turning like pages in a story I thought I'd closed. Dad's recovery anchored us. Trips to Wichita more frequent. Video calls with his gruff updates on the shop's revival. Ellie and I tag-teamed. Her handling Mom's doctor runs. Me redesigning their website pro bono. Pixels bridging miles. Jake softened too. His daughter calling me Unca No with sticky fingers. Innocence erasing old lines. New Year pulsed on. My career cresting. A solo exhibit at a Soho gallery. Fractured lines. Chronicling betrayal to belonging. Opening night was magic. Critics buzzing. Ben's absence a hollow I'd filled with friends. Ellie flew in, radiant in a thrift store gown. Toasting to Noah Harlan, the heart that mends. Ben showed, uninvited, suited, new husband on arm, apology in eyes. Congrats, he murmured, handshake lingering. You deserve this. I nodded, throat tight. I do, no venom, just truth. He'd been my chapter, this, my volume. Life settled into rhythm. Ellie's apartment in Jersey a second home. Our brunches evolving to double dates when she met Riley. A soft-spoken teacher with a laugh like wind chimes. She's good for me, Ellie confided one crisp morning, watching Riley chase pigeons in Bryant Park. Steady. Real. You deserve that, I echoed her words back, meaning them fierce. But undercurrents stirred. Dad's checkups revealed shadows, metastasized cells. The cancer not done. Prognosis, months. Maybe. The news hit like a freight train, family fracturing anew under grief's weight. We fight it, Dad declared, voice defiant from his hospital bed. But his eyes, those steel blue eyes, held fear. The same I'd seen that night, he cast me out. Mom crumbled private, her faith a fragile reed. Jake buried in spreadsheets, avoiding. Ellie and I, we armored up. The outcasts turned generals. We'll get you through, I promised, holding his hand. Veins mapping battles lost. Chemo cycles blurred. New York to Kansas shuttles. My freelance squeeze between flights. Ben, ex-Ben, reached out via email. Heard about your dad. If you need anything. Deleted. Some bridges burned for warmth. One storm last night. Delayed at LaGuardia. Ellie called. Noah, Mom's asking about Ben. Thinks you're alone because of us. Of me. The accusation stung fresh. Not now. But it is. Guilt's eating her. She blames the family rift for your hardships. I pace the terminal. Rain sheeting glass. Tell her it's not. Tell her I'm happy, well, as happy as this shitshow allows. Silence. Then I told her about us. The real us. Queer siblings. Fighting back. Mom's response. A tearful voicemail next day. No, I love you both. No more hiding. Progress. Bittersweet. Dad rallied through Thanksgiving. Home-cooked spread. His laugh weak, but genuine. We played cards till midnight. Stories spilling. His wild youth in the 60s. Dodging draft. Mom's secret poetry in high school journals. Jake confessed marital strains. Therapy on the horizon. Ellie shared Riley's proposal. Rings simple. Love profound. My turn, the exhibit success. A new commission for a pride float. And love. Dad prodded. Sly. I hesitated. Then someday. When it's right. His nod was approval. Unspoken. Winter bit hard. Dad fading with the light. Hospice in Wichita. Us rotating shifts. Ellie and I bunked in the guest room. Whispering past midnight. Regrets aired. Dreams dusted off. Remember that night on the porch? She murmured one eve. Snow muffling world. How could I forget? Bitterness edged soft now. I should have been braver. For me. For you. You were scared. We both were. She squeezed my hand. Think Dad regrets it? The kicking out. Every day, I said, believing it. His last words. To me alone, proud. Son. Of the man you became. Forgive an old fool. Already did, I lied. Then truth. Working on it. He slipped quiet. Dawn, painting room gold. Grief crashed, raw. Title. Funeral was small. Church progressive. Eulogies honest. Mom clung to us. Ellie and me her pillars. Jake stepped up. Finally. Back in New York. Spring's thaw mirror mine. Exhibit toured. LA next. Whispers of book deals. Ellie moved Riley in. Their joy infectious. Mom visited. Tentative steps, museums, matinees. Her hand in mine on subways. One June afternoon. Gallery buzzed. Critic from the Times. Schmoozing donors. Door chimed. I turned. Heart stuttering. Ben. Alone. Older in the eyes. Noah. Smile tentative. Heard about your dad. I'm sorry. Thanks. Neutral ground. Art between us. His new husband, ex now, he clarified, had left months back. Incompatibility, the polite term. Been thinking about us. What I lost. The air thickened. Old embers flickering. Ben, I know. Too late. But I miss you. The real you. Temptation tugged. Familiar comfort in chaos. But I saw clearer. Ben had been safety, not soul. I miss parts too, I admitted. But I'm not that guy anymore. And you need to find yours. He nodded, graceful in defeat. Fair. Friends, someday. Door closed gentle. That night, solo in the apartment, Ben's ghost long exorcised. I sketched, horizons open, figures entwined, not in passion, but partnership. Love, I realized, wasn't possession. It was choice, daily. Ellie's call broke reverie. Road trip, Riley's game. Count me in. Summer unfolded lazy. Beach days in the Hamptons. Mom joining once. Her laughter surprising. Ellie confided doubts. Riley's ex lingering. Trust fraying. Talk it out, I advised. Echoing Ben's old wisdom. Don't let fear win. She did, they mended. Stronger. My own spark ignited unexpectedly at the LA opening, amidst palm sway and flashbulbs. Javier, curator with warm brown eyes and a laugh that rumbled like thunder. Corner me post-toast. Your work, it's alive. Hurts and heals. We talked till bar close. His Puerto Rican roots in the Bronx. My Kansas exile. Coffee turned dinners. Flights sinking serendipitous. By fall, he was in New York. Suitcase tentative. Stay, I asked one rainy eve. His head on my chest. If you'll have me, love. Second act, gentler, wiser. But climax brewed in secrets unspoken. Thanksgiving. Mom's table, full now. Javier charming, Jake's kid. Post-feast. Ellie pulled me aside. Face ashen. Noah. I did something stupid. Dread pulled. What? Remember Dad's letter? The one he gave you. I nodded. I found another. In his things. For you. About me. She handed an envelope. Sealed with Dad's precise script. Hands trembling. I tore it open. Noah, if you're reading this, I'm gone. Need you to know, Ellie wasn't the villain. I pushed her that night. Knew her secret. Threatened to cut her off if she didn't confess something to save face. Family image. My pride. Used your truth as pawn. Forgive her. Forgive me. Love. Dad. The paper blurred. Ellie sobbed. He told me after, said it was his sin, not mine. I carried it alone, thinking I'd broken us. Rage surged, not at her, but him, the grave hiding his hand. Why now? To free you both, she whispered. Before I couldn't. Betrayal's final twist, Dad's. Not hers. Understanding flooded. Ellie's lashing born of coercion. Her silence a shroud of shame. I pulled her close. You were a kid. We both were. Mom overheard. Crumbling. He told me too. Late. Too damn late. Truth's scalpel cut deep, but cleansed. We grieve anew, not just loss, but the lies that bound. Winter healed slow, therapy sessions group. Mom joining, Jake too. Javier held space. His patience a gift. Families are messes, he said, cooking arroz con gandals. But yours? It's fighting. Ellie's wedding came spring, small, beachside in Jersey. Riley radiant. I walked her down, our bond unbreakable. Vows echoed mine unspoken, choice over blood, love over fear. Yet one shadow lingered mine. Javier proposed under July stars. Central Park fireflies witnesses. Yes, I breathed, ring cool on finger. But doubt whispered, was I whole enough? The answer came autumn. Exhibit encore in Wichita, homecoming full circle. Gallery packed, old classmates, shop regulars, mom beaming front row. Ellie emceed, voice steady. Post-show, Javier knelled again, this time public. Noah Harlan, will you? Crowd hushed. I saw them all family, flawed and fierce. Yes, I said, pulling him up. Kisses under applause. Hearts mending public. Life's not fairy tale, conflict scar, secrets scar. But in the choosing, the staying, we find grace. American as apple pie and protest marches. Messy, resilient, profoundly human. 2 years slipped by like pages turned in a well-loved book, each chapter richer for the tears staining edges. Javier and I married in a rooftop ceremony overlooking the Hudson, simple, sun-drenched, with Ellie's vows as best woman stealing hearts. Noah taught me forgiveness isn't forgetting. It's rebuilding with the pieces you have. Mom danced with Jake's kids. Her cardigan swapped for silk. Dad's absence a quiet ache softened by memory. Riley filmed it all, her camera capturing not just joy, but the depth beneath. Our life wove seamless. Javier's curatorial gigs syncing with my design firm, now mine. Partners trusting my vision born of breaks. We bought a brownstone in Bed-Stuy, walls echoing with laughter, mornings tangled in sunlight. Ellie and Riley adopted, twin boys from foster care. Chaos incarnate, but ours to love fierce. Yet depth demands tension, peace, its price. The call came midsummer barbecue. Smoke curling from grill as kids splashed in kiddie pools. Unknown number, Wichita. Mom's voice. Edge panic. Noah. It's Jake. Car accident. Critical. The world stuttered. Jake, steady Jake. The brother who'd faded to functional. Now teetering on brink. We flew out. Javier hand in mine. Ellie meeting at gate. Face drawn. Hospital wait was purgatory, sterile halls. Coffee bitter as fear. Mom paced rosary beads. I held her when sobs broke. He's stable, doctor said finally, but spinal. Paralysis likely. Long road. Jake's room was dim. Machines beeping dirge. His eyes, Dad's eyes, found mine. Hey, bro. Weak grin, but grin. Hey. I squeezed his hand. Tube snaking. Scared the shit out of us. Wife hovered. Toddler clutched, their world upended. He was rushing home, she whispered. From a meeting. Slippery roads. Guilt's whisper. Had distance dulled us? I leaned in. We're here. All in. Recovery mirrored Dad's. Grueling. Grace and glimpses. Jake transferred to a city rehab. Family caravanning support. Ellie coordinated logistics. Her nonprofit savvy shining. Javier cooked Puerto Rican comfort. Bridging cultures. Mom read psalms, but added my sketches to walls, affirmations visual. Jake cracked open in sessions, confessing the pressure he'd carried. Golden boy yoke chafing. Watched you leave. Noah. Envied your freedom. Even then, freedom's overrated, I joked, but truth lingered. Exile forged me. One rainy afternoon, physical therapy paused. He broached the unsaid. Dad's letter about Ellie. You read it. Yeah. Pause. Explains a lot. He regretted everything. Told me before. And wanted me to man up. Protect you all. You did, I said. In your way. Brotherhood reborn. Wheelchair races and halls. Bad jokes over Jell-O. His wife bloomed resilient. Support groups, knitting net. Back in New York. Normalcy beckoned, fall exhibits. Ellie's boys' first school play. Him actors. All. But misunderstanding brewed subtle. Javier. Distant in glances. Buried in work emails late. Everything good? I asked one eve. City lights winking beyond windows. He sighed, closing laptop. Yeah. Just. A letter from an old flame. Stirring dust. Jealousy pricked, but trust held. Talk to me. He did, ex from college. Reaching out post-divorce. Nostalgia's hook. I told her no. But it made me think how far we've come. I pulled him close. And how far we'll go. Intimacy reignited. Nights rediscovering. Words weaving tighter. Climax crested unexpected. Mom's 60th. Wichita bash. Full Harlan reunion. Cousins. Shop crew. Progressive pastor blessing. Jake wheeled in. Charming. Ellie's boys romping. Javier mingling. His Spanglish delighting. Toast flowed. Mom's eyes misty. Surveying brood. We almost lost this, she said. Glass raised. But love. It pulls us back. My turn. Words prepared. Heart full. To messes that make us. And the people who stay. After. Porch swing creaking. Javier beside. Mom approached hesitant. Noah. A question. Shoot. Seeing you happy. With Javier. With us. It heals. But. Grandchildren? Ever. The ask hung. Innocent. Loaded. American dreams undercurrent. Legacy. Bloodlines. I glanced at Javier. Laughing with Jake. Maybe not biological. But family? The commie build, yeah. She nodded. Tears glistening. That's enough. More than. Ellie joined. Arm licking mine. Hear that. Mom? We're enough. Laughter dissolved tension. Stars winking approval. Yet high drama loomed. One final secret. Buried deep. Weeks later, sorting Mom's attic for a garage sale, Ellie unearthed a box. Dad's war relics. Letters yellowed. One addressed to me. Postmarked pre-death. Noah, one more truth. That night. Your truth? I knew. Months before. Saw you with that boy from the garage. Shadows in the lot. Didn't want to believe. So I pushed Ellie. Cowardice. Pure. But seeing you now, proud. Be free. Son. Love wins. Dad. Revelations thunder. He'd known. Chosen denial. Anger flare brief. Then ebbed to sorrow. He tried. In his way. I murmured. Ellie hugged tight. We all did. The box yielded more. Mom's poems. Jake's old journals. Family tapestry. Threads tangled but true. Back home. I shared with Javier over wine. Another layer peeled. He traced my jaw. And you're still standing. Beautiful. Love's depth. Not absence of storm. But dancing in rain. Years folded forward. Jake walking with braces. His firm adapting. Ellie's nonprofit expanding. Boys thriving. Mom dating a widower from church. Blush youthful. My firm mentored queer artists. Javier and I adopting a teen. Marcus. Street smart with a poet's soul. Weddings dotted calendar. Jake's vow renewal. Wheelchair no barrier. Ellie's vow to Riley. Oceanside redux. Ours? Annual rooftop reaffirmations. Rings exchanged anew. One dawn. Marcus asked, You ever get mad? At the past. All the time, I admitted. Coffee's steaming. But mad's fuel. Turns to fire. Then light. He nodded. Wise beyond scars. Cool. Elder now. Gray, threading temples. I sketch still. Lines softer. Stories whole. Ellie and I. Porch swings in Jersey. Trade tales. Her boy's antics. Marcus's triumphs. Think Dad's watching. She muses one eve. Sunset bleeding sky. Yeah. Grinning. Humanity's arc, from fracture to fusion. Conflicts cauterized by choice. American Odyssey. Queer. Raw. Redemptive. We didn't end perfect. We ended present. And in that, grace abundant.